Hello everyone, welcome back to Maths Help. So today we will be carrying on from video 1 where you learned how to solve a quadratic by factorization. So this is video 2 and you'll be learning how to solve using, so you'll be solving quadratics using quadratic formula. So this is one of the easier method, if I should say, because of the fact that you only have to sub in values to the equation and pretty much just type this into your calculator to get an answer. So let's see the steps. First thing, you will have to remember the equation. So first step, remember equation. So note this down, you wouldn't get this in an exam, so make sure you fully remember this equation. So x is equal to minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac everything over 2a. So let me just highlight that fully because this is very important that you remember this formula. So have it have it pasted in your View, something along those lines, because you fully need to remember this formula. Otherwise, this whole process can go down the drain. So let's do an example. Step 1, remember the equation. Step 2, identify A, B, and C. So what do I mean by A, B, and C? So if you remember from last video or otherwise, a general form of a quadratic is given as A x squared plus bx plus c. So this is the general form of a quadratic. So if you have a quadratic equation in this form, so make sure it's completely in this form, otherwise don't use this equation. It must be in the form a squared plus bs plus c. What you have to do is identify what a, b, and c is. So as an example, if I have a quadratic such as 2x squared plus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0, a would be 2, b would be 5, and c would be 3. So that is the second step. Identify what A, B, and C is. And the third step is sub into the equation. So you will have to substitute the values. A is equal to 2, B is equal to 5, and C is equal to 3 into this equation. So that is the third step, substitution. So I will always suggest, first of all, write this down in the paper before you just type in your calculator. For example, write something along the lines of x equal to minus 5 plus minus square root 5 squared minus 4, a which is 2, and c which is 3, all over 2 bracket a which is 2. So this is the substitution of all of these values a, b, and c into the quadratic formula. So there are a couple of things that you need to keep in mind while doing the substitution. The easiest method from here onwards is just to sub the value into your calculator and get an answer. But of course, that is not the safest option because you can have a lot of mistakes. So I would suggest simplify this part first. Type this into your calculator first. Then simplify the denominator. And of course, simplify this because sometimes it can be a negative in number inside, so you have to do the negative negative to make it a positive. So split the equation into three different parts and simplify them. Of course, when I say split, I don't mean go to a different area, it down, write it down three different times. I mean three different ways. I mean calculate it separately. Yeah, calculate it separately. It will greatly reduce your mistake. So in this case, that would be minus 5 plus minus, so that would be 25 minus 24, which is square root of 1 over 2 times 2, which is 4. Now, there is something unique about this. So there is s- plus minus. What would this mean? What this means is now you have to separate this equation into two different one. So this would be separated into minus 5 plus square root of 1 over 4, or minus 5 minus square root of 1 over 4. So if you remember, quadratics always have about two, not always, but have mostly has two solutions. So remember to always try to get that two solutions for quadratic. So it looks a bit confusing now, but I could simplify this further. So this would be minus 5 plus 1 over 4 minus 5 minus 1 over 4. So the two answers would be, this becomes minus 4 over 4, which is minus 1. This becomes minus 6 over 4, which is minus 3 over 2. So finally, x is equal to minus 1 or minus 3 over 2. So we are done. Yeah, that's it. And final step, solve for it. More than solve, more of a simplify for it. So let me just simplify that. So that is the using quadratic formula in a nutshell. But let's do a quick overview of what we did so far. First step is, of course, remember the formula. Remember what the formula is. Without this formula, you cannot use this method. So make sure you know this formula. So once you know this formula, the next step is to identify what A, B, and C is from the quadratic. So if I use this quadratic as an example, A is 2, B is 5, C is 3, identify A, B, C, then substitute into the formula. Once you have substituted it, you can do it in multiple ways. You can simply just type in your calculator, or you can split it into three different parts and simplify from there onwards. And I think there's a step 4 here, which is split into two equations. This is very important. So the plus minus is indicating that you must split it into two different solutions. So never forget to do that. Always split it into two different. And afterwards you get an answer. So this can be quite weird. So there is quite weird examples. So we will go through that next. But hopefully you understand this method, and if you have any questions, please comment below and I will answer as soon as I can. So hopefully, so if you want to use something along the lines of 5x squared minus 10 is equal to 0. So if you have this quadratic to solve using quadratic formula, there is a bit of trickiness in identifying A, B, and C. Of course, there's other methods to solve this, but if you're required to use the quadratic formula, we can use that now. So remember the first step. The first step is to actually remember the formula, which is x is equal to minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over, that is very important, everything over 2a. So remember the formula, have it pasted in your walls, make sure you fully remember it. Afterwards, what you do is identify A, B, and C. Now here's the trick. Where is an x? There is no term with x here. So what would you do? So first of all, you identify A because A is the term in front of x squared. So in this case, A is 5. And this is the tricky part. There is no B. I can't see any B. Where is the B? So what you do in this case is you will assume, you're not assuming, it's actually true, that B is equal to 0. So if you have 0x, that is 0. So B would be 0. And for C, it would be minus 10. So always remember to include the sign with that digit. So C would be minus 10. Now you would substitute all of this into here. So that would be x equal to minus 0 plus minus square root 0 squared minus 4, a which is 5, and minus 10 over 2 bracket 5. So this would be plus minus because 0 is nothing. Square root minus 4 times 5, that would be 400. Oops, not 400. It would be 200 over 10. So the answer is x is equal to square root of 200 over 10, or x is equal to minus 200 over 10. So here's the thing, just because 0 disappeared, the plus minus does not disappear. So make sure you always split it into two different solutions. That is very important. Keep that in mind. So that's it for solving quadratic equations using quadratic formula. So it's pretty simple, but make sure to get a lot of practice with different scenario questions. So feel free to let me know in the comment section if you want more practice questions. I can put very good websites in the description. Do let me know. And finally, let me know what you think about the videos. Feel free to just comment and let me know if it's good, bad, worse, could be better. Any of those feedback would be very much appreciated, because it helps me improve. Improving is the best because at the end of the day, I want to help and I want to make sure you understand the topic. So please let me know. So that's it. Thank you for watching and feel free to like and subscribe. So thank you and see you on the next video.